Welcome back to the Wizard Shop. Today we're going to talk about timing belts and how a Honda is one of the most reliable cars on the road, but that doesn't exempt it from scheduled maintenance. Right after this. This is a 2013 Honda Accord EXL. It has a 3.5 liter Earth Dreams V6, as they call it. It says Earth Dreams right on the engine cover. It has roughly 120,000 miles on it, and the customer brought it in. Their air conditioner isn't working. And also they were curious what kind of scheduled maintenance is due right now. And when I looked it all up, pretty much valve adjustment, timing belt, water pump, all these things are due all at once. And so the customer said, yeah, let's go ahead and let's do that. But that's pretty rare. I have found that to be pretty rare with timing belts. There is a common conception that whenever someone hears that their car is due for a timing belt service, they confuse a serpentine belt with a true toothed timing belt. So they call up and say, how much is it going to cost to do my timing belt service? And I look it up and figure it all up, and I say it's going to be $1,300. And I hear the phone hit the ground. And they pick it back up and they're like, you've got to be kidding me. It's like, no, I'm not kidding you. That's what a timing belt serves. $800–900 on some cars, some are $1,200–1,300. So this little serpentine belt is what they're thinking of. It has little grooves in it. And these are something that's typically replaced at a fast lube type business. So they're envisioning $40 for the belt, maybe $30–40 to replace it, and I should have it by the end of the day. How did that turn into $1,300 and it's going to be here for a few days? We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about what is a timing belt, why is it so important to replace it, and why it's not a $50 job. As you can see on the front of this motor, which is actually faces the passenger side of the car, we have just installed the new timing belt, pulleys and tensioner and water pump. Everything's back together, but before we went any further, I thought this is a time for a video to show you exactly what all had to come apart to get to this. This isn't a quick, simple undertaking, and it's not for the faint of heart either if you're a do-it-yourself that doesn't have a lot of experience. Here, I'm going to show you guys a picture right here. This is what the timing belt looks like with its diagram. There's timing marks and things that need to be lined up before you even remove the belt. And then you put the belt on and do all the different work, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. And you make sure your marks are still lined up before you reassemble everything. Now the first thing you have to do, you do have to remove the serpentine belt. So you take that off the vehicle. You usually replace it. We're not going to go back with the old one, and throw it aside. There is a tremendous amount of things to take apart to get down to the timing belt. And once you're there, your car is immobile. You can't say, oh, I got to hurry up and move this car out. Once you get this thing apart, your car is stuck there until it's done. You need to keep that in mind. It's not going to move until you get it back together and running and driving again.
All right, Wizard, what happens if you were to move it?
You risk getting it out of time, or you risk dropping the engine. As you can see a handle of a jack sticking out of the bottom of the car. That's holding the motor up. The reason why is because to get to the timing belt, the front motor mount physically has to be removed out of the vehicle, leaving the engine with no way to hold itself up as far as the forward portion of the motor. I've got a little box here, and I'm going to go through it and show you what all we had to do. So as you can see, the wheel has been removed, and there's a liner that goes in the wheel well in here. Once the wheel's off, you take that out, and you can see that part of the motor down there where the main pulley goes and the bottom of the timing belt. So once you get this center bolt out, you remove the main pulley. It should pull out by hand. These are fairly easy to come off. And you set that aside. Then you can get to these 3 pieces, which are the timing cover. Your main pulley is going to be right here where this center hole is. And as you can see, it's kind of the shape of an engine, a V6. You take this piece off, then you take this piece off, then you can take the center piece off. And basically you'll be able to see what we just saw a minute ago, the timing belt pulley system. And this sits directly over the water pump. The water pump sits in this little hole. If you don't take the motor mount off, which is what this is the bracket for the motor mount, you can't even get the belt off the vehicle. So you have to jack up the motor, and then you can remove this motor mount. Are you guys staying with me here? You're starting to realize this isn't a $100 job. This is, I'm not getting onto the guys who know what they're doing. I know there's a lot of you guys that watch this channel that you're like, I already know all this. I wouldn't be doing this video if I didn't have 40 or 50 people a year call me and drop the phone on the ground when I tell them the cost for a timing belt. They just don't get it. They're like, what? Well, this is what this video is for. It's to show people this is not a simple undertaking. Once you've taken all those pieces off that I just showed you, then you can see the timing belt. That's when you get it lined up, like in this picture here. Again, I'll show you again. You see the little marks? There's one at the crankshaft and one on each camshaft. Once you get those lined up perfectly, then you can remove the belt and the pulleys and the tensioner. These are the little pulleys that you just saw down in there that the belt rests on. This is a tensioner pulley. This is the tensioner. It's spring-loaded, and it pushes up against this and keeps constant tension on the belt and keeps it nice and tight. And this is an idler pulley that the belt just rests on. These are replaced. They come in the kit when you buy a kit. It's called a timing belt with water pump kit. You don't want to put a new timing belt on and use these old pulleys. And a year from now, one of these seizes up and throws your belt off, and then you ruin your motor. If you've gone this far, it makes sense to do all the pulleys, the tensioner, the water pump, the belt. Now we're adding up cost. And here's our water pump. Is there anything wrong with this water pump? Nope. It's a perfectly working water pump. And guess what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to pitch it in the recycle bin and recycle it as scrap metal. You say, Car Wizard, why would you do that? Because if this goes out, this is driven by the timing belt. If this goes out and starts leaking out of the little weep hole here, we have to do this, what I just showed you, all over again. Do you want to pay a second time because we didn't do this while we had it apart? And it's at 120,000 miles. How much longer is left in this water pump? 6 months? A year? 2 years? I'm not going to play guessing games with this type of stuff, so he's getting a new water pump. You have to take this off, put the new one on, then you start reassembly of the timing belt. There's another question that I get. What is a timing belt? What does it even do? On modern cars, the camshafts, which operate your valves, sit up on top of the cylinder heads. And the crankshaft is down below, is actually doing the turning. That's where the power comes from, out of the motor. You have to have some kind of motive power to operate your camshafts. Something has to operate them. Well, you use a belt to transfer the power from the crankshaft around the camshafts and back around again. So as the crankshaft turns, so does the camshafts. What's really important here is it has to be perfectly in time with one another. As you can see here, this is the old timing belt. It has teeth. This keeps everything in time. A normal belt could slip or get out of time, but these teeth keep everything lined up perfectly. So the purpose is not only to provide power to operate your camshafts, but also to do so in perfect timing, constantly, over and over and over again.
Car Wizard, what happens if it breaks when you're going down the road?
That's something that's why we do this scheduled maintenance, and it's done at a certain amount of miles, because if you wait until it breaks to do the job, you could destroy your engine. When these camshafts get out of time, the valve will be open when it should be closed, and here comes the piston, and it impacts and hits it. It can break the head of the valve off. Then it's in there banging around, smashing your pistons, scoring up your cylinder walls. It will literally destroy the entire engine. Destroyed. Unrebuildable.
Car Wizard, are all cars built that way?
No. This is called an interference engine. There are, like the Ford 2.3, or there's many other engines out there that are non-interference engines. They're usually engines that are not high compression. And they're going to be where the timing belt can break, and there's never a time when the valves can hit the pistons. There's always room there. I suppose if you wanted to, you could wait on one of those till your timing belt broke, but it's horribly inconvenient. But on this particular engine, you do not want to wait till it breaks. You can damage your engine without breaking the timing belt. If you attempt to do this yourself, and you're not paying attention and you get them off 3 teeth or 4 teeth, or if you don't get the tensioner right or something goes wrong, it can get out of time quite a bit to where the pistons hit the valves. Sometimes it just bends the valves and it doesn't run right, and that's about as far as it goes. But you can break the valves off and it just trashes. Like I said, it destroys your engine. It's completely ruined.
Car Wizard, but do all cars have timing belts?
No, some cars have timing chains. Back in the old days, they actually had timing gears. They would have a crankshaft gear and a camshaft gear. And really, I wish they could do that on every car. If they went to timing gears on every single car and lubricated with oil, they would outlast the engine itself. You would never have to do timing service, ever. But that's not cost effective. I don't really like timing belts. I think the reason why we have them is because they're cheap. They can get the car out the door. You do have to maintain it, but it's something that's cheap that they can pump the engines out and get them out to the public, sell the cars, and the maintenance is your problem.
Car Wizard, do you have to make these repairs with timing chains as well?
No. Timing chains are not going to have the timing system exposed like we just seen here a minute ago when you look down in the engine. They're going to be enclosed in a timing case, and they're lubricated with engine oil. Those do have issues from time to time, that the chain gets stretched or the guides break or different things. As far as replacing the chain every so many miles, no, there's really no maintenance schedule for something like that. Back to the timing belt. Whenever you get everything timed up and you got your new belt on and you've got the tensioner set and everything's just right, you rotate the crankshaft twice, which rotates the camshafts once. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. That's because it's a 4-stroke engine. And if you rotate it twice and all your timing marks line perfectly up again, you know you've got it. It's good to go. You can put it back together and give it back to the customer. Timing belts is not, like I said, it's not for the faint of heart. If you don't know what you're doing, you can make a small mistake that can cost you $5,000 for a new motor. Alternators, power steering pumps, a do-it-yourself guy, if they did something wrong, it's not going to destroy the motor. This is a job for a trained technician to do. There are home garage mechanics or do-it-yourself mechanics that can do timing belts. I know several of them. And if you're good at it, great, you can save a lot of money by doing it. But I'm just bringing this out for 2 reasons I'm doing this video. Number 1 is to let people know why this isn't a $100 job. And number 2, for those of you who are maybe semi-do-it-yourself mechanics and you think you want to push yourself to that next level and tackle a job like this, I'm just letting you know how important it is to make sure you know what you're doing. You research, you ask some friends who know how to do these before you could possibly ruin your motor. Another thing for you do-it-yourself guys that really makes professional mechanics angry is if you have it torn down to this level and you're like, oh man, I'm going to have to throw in the towel here. I'm scared. I'm going to tear up my car. I'm going to put this on a tow truck and tow it to my buddy up the road or whatever at the mechanic shop and let him finish it up. You will very likely pay more than a normal timing belt service because the mechanic didn't take it apart. He's like, where is this bolt? Where is this? What did you do? Where's the parts? Did you put this on? Did you do this? Did you do that? And meanwhile, the clock is ticking. Time is being eaten up. Who's going to pay for that time? You are. And if the marks are out of sync, he's going to have to take it back apart and re-time everything back up. it can actually take more time to fix a half-done motor as far as timing belts go than it does just to start from scratch with a trained technician who can get in there and whiz right through it real fast and be done. So if you think you're going to get halfway done and you're going to have to throw in the towel, just don't even start, guys. It's the wise decision. Take it to your mechanic, pay them the bill, and let them do the job for you. This isn't a job that you teach yourself to do unless you've got some years of mechanical experience. The first few that I did, I had my mentor walk me through it step by step, and he watched me. And he was double checking my steps all along the way, making sure I was doing it right. And since then, I can honestly say I've probably done 300 or 400 timing belt jobs. I can almost do them in my sleep, but it takes many, many timing belt jobs to get to that level. Junior Mint was able to tear this down, but once he gets down to the timing belt, he is not allowed to go any further. That's where I come over, I put the belt on, I do all the timing, I take care of all that, and once I'm satisfied that the timing is correct, everything is torqued properly, the tension on the belt is correct, then I will allow Junior Mint to reassemble and go back together. He's done several of these, he's getting pretty good at it, but he's not there yet. He's not to the level that I could turn him loose on the timing components. That takes years. So while we've been sitting here talking, you might have seen this blue moving blanket laying on top of the engine. The reason why is because we have the intake off and the valve covers off. Now that I have the timing belt on and everything's timed up, the next step is the customer would like a valve adjustment. So I'm going to go through and do all that and then have Junior Mint put the rest back together. But while I am getting to that point, these are perfect as engine covers. You can lay it over the top of the engine. It keeps bolts and tools and dirt and dust from getting down into the engine while it's opened up. I had Junior Mint go ahead and tear this all apart so that once I come over to do the timing belt, I can jump right into the valve adjustments and do a kind of a 2-for-1. Knock this out, knock that out, then I can turn it back over to him and I can continue on working on Hoovie's Lambo or something else. He can finish up the rest. So I'm glad you guys could follow along and watch what a timing belt does and how it's replaced. I just wanted to do this video to clear up some questions. If I had only gotten these questions once or twice, it probably wouldn't be worth a video, but I've gotten so many of them. People are upset when they see how much it costs to do a timing belt. And this video is out there to explain why does it cost so much. So now you're at home, some of you guys might be furloughed or going through these rough times we're going through, and you think, well, I've got time on my hands, I might just tackle this myself. This is probably not a job to tackle for a beginner. You might want to go ahead and wait till you can get it to a mechanic. If you've got some valve cover leaks or a battery or starter or something, yeah, go ahead and jump in. But like I've said, this is not a job to jump in if you don't have experience timing your motor up. And with social distancing going on, if you have a mentor or a buddy sitting there, you can't stand right next to each other and work. I mean, I guess you could, but then you're not following social distancing. So maybe just time to wait a little bit until this is all over with. So if you guys are bored and you want to check out what kind of tools I use, you can check out my Amazon affiliate page in the link below and write yourself up a wish list, some of the things you might want to buy here in the future. You can head on over to Auto Trader Oversteer. I've got articles and videos I do there. You can check that out. There's things going on there that are not on my YouTube channel. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button, you might want to do that right now because we got many projects in the shop, things that are going on. They're going to be video after video after video. A lot of cool videos, guys. And thanks for watching. Catch you guys the next time around.